Good morning, dear children. Previous week we have already started the second lesson of this syllabus, and the name of the lesson you already know it. The name of the lesson is Elixir of Life. In the two paragraphs we have already studied that why the elixir is important and to which kind of thing C.V. Raman has called elixir. In the further paragraphs, let us see what C.V. Raman is going to tell us. Geologists tell us that the entire soil of the Nile Valley is the creation of the river itself. It was brought down as the finest silt in its flood waters from the highlands of Abyssinia and from remote central Africa and laid down through the ages in the trough through which the Nile flows into the sea. Here, the author tells us about the geologists. What the geologists are doing? The geologists are studying the soil of the Nile River. Means the soil which is present in the Nile Valley. So, after studying the soil of the Nile Valley, they came to a conclusion that it is very fertile. Now the question comes, what makes it fertile? Yes, actually the fast flowing water of the Nile River carries some fine particles. And what are those fine particles, children? Those fine particles are called as silt. And the fast flowing water carries those fine particles from the highlands of Abyssinia and from the remote central part of Africa. And later, that fast flowing water, all the particles which carries, it comes and settles down in the valleys. So because of this, the Nile valleys become very fertile. That's what the geologists gave this statement that the Nile valleys are fertile because of the particles which are carried by the fast flowing water of the Nile River. Egypt, in fact, was made by its river. Its ancient civilization was created and is sustained by the life-giving waters which come down year after year with unfailing regularity. Not only this, children, the civilization, the Egypt civilization, the older civilization, which started near to the Nile Valley, the main source for this civilization was Nile River. The civilization sustained, it grew, it developed only because of this Nile valleys. That's what means. It helped such kind of civilization, the river helped the civilization to grow, to develop and to sustain. That's what here C.V. Raman tells us that the civilizations which started near to the valleys, near to the rivers, the main source for those civilizations were rivers itself. You can take an example of Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization started near to the Sindhu river. And what was the main source for that civilization? Even the river. That's what, children. In the beginning of the lesson itself, I had told there is very less percentage of clean water present on earth, which is fit for human use. And what we are doing, we are not preserving it. We are going on wasting it. Let's see what C.V. Raman is telling in 4th paragraph. I give this example and could give many others to emphasize that this common substance which we take for granted in our everyday life is the most potent and the most wonderful thing on the face of our earth. It has played a role of vast significance in shaping the course of the earth's history and continues to play the leading role in the drama of life on the surface of our planet. Here the author takes an example of Egypt civilization which he had already mentioned in the 3rd paragraph. And he tells that the civilization, it grew, Such a vast civilization was possible to grow only because of this Nile river. So this natural potent, the natural thing which is present on earth, we should not take it as granted. Granted means we are not giving less importance to it and we go on taking benefit of that. So here he tells that this common substance plays a very important and significant role in our life. Just imagine if this common substance is not present on earth, if it disappears, does the life exist? No, not at all. Even the scientists also, they try to find the clues of the water on other planets. Isn't it or not? That's what. Water is the main source for the life, and if water is not present, how the living beings survive? So this common substance plays a very significant role in our life. So what we have to do? We have to preserve it. We have to save it. We have to find such kind of measures where we should take the benefit of this natural thing. We should not waste it. There is nothing which adds so much to the beauty of the countryside as water, be it just a little stream trickling over the rocks or a little pond by the wayside where the cattle quench their thirst of an evening. The rain-fed tanks that are so common in South India, alas, often so sadly neglected in their maintenance, are a cheering sight when they are full. They are, of course, shallow, but this is less evident since the water is silk laden and throws the light back and bottom does not therefore show up. These tanks play a vital role in South Indian agriculture. Some of these tanks are surprisingly large and it is a beautiful sight to see the sunrise or sunset over one of them. Water in the landscape may be compared to the eyes in the human face. It reflects the mood of the hour. You being bright and gay when the sun shines, turning to dark and gloomy when the sky is overcast. Now coming to the 5th paragraph, here C.V. Raman is grabbing our attention towards the ponds and the streams and the rain-fed tanks too. And what are the main source for these streams, ponds, the ponds which are situated near to the hills and the rain-fed tanks? The main source for this is rainfall. When the heavy rainfall occurs, the water flows from the streams, from the hillside, and they get collected in the ponds. And the rain-fed tanks, they get filled with the rain water. And when the ponds and the rain-fed tanks get filled by the water, they look very cheerful. The sight of that filled tanks and the ponds is cheerful and heartwarming. So whenever the author had gone and observed those ponds, observed those rain-fed tanks, he just observed the sunrise and sunset over them. He liked those sights. He liked those views. Means when the ponds are full of water and the rain-fed tanks are full of water, they look beautiful. The sight will be very cheerful, very beautiful. So here, actually our country is depending on agriculture. And the agriculture is able to grow because of rainfall water and season wise. And if the irrigation wants to grow, the farmers will be waiting for the season, the rainfall season. So to avoid this, what the scientists suggested to collect the water in rain-fed tanks so that they can use the rainwater by collecting the water in rain-fed tanks, that they can use the water after season also. So it was a kind of benefit for human beings. So might be because of irrigation, because of agriculture, to use this water, the rainwater, they were collecting in ponds and the rain-fed tanks. One of the most remarkable facts about water is its power to carry silt of finely divided soil in suspension. This is the origin of the characteristic color of the water in rain-fed tanks. This color varies with the nature of earth in the catchment area and is most vivid immediately after a fresh inflow of flowing water. Swiftly flowing water can carry fairly large and heavy particles. The finest particles, however, remain floating within the liquid in spite of their greater density and are of course extremely small, but their number is also great. Now, the author is describing about how the water is collected in rain-fed tanks. It is a remarkable fact. He highlights it. The remarkable fact about the rainfall water which is collected in rain-fed tanks. The tanks will be made in the underground, and when the heavy rain occurs, the water flows very fast. And when the water flows very fast, it carries some fine particles with it. And what happens? The flowing water goes and gets collected in the rain-fed tanks. Later, when we observe the color of the water in the rain-fed tanks, the color varies. There is a reason, children. Here, the author describes the reason. What is the reason, you know? The reason is, the fine particles which are carried by the water, some particles will be having heavy density. And the particles which are heavy in density, they settle down. But the particles which are light in density, they keep on floating in the water. So, what happens? Those particles only make the water to change the color. The water appears mud color sometimes, and sometimes the water appears brown color. Only because of those fine particles, children, which is carried by the water before collecting into the rain-fed tanks. That's what, children. The flow of water has undoubtedly played a great part and a beneficent one in the geological processes by which the soil on the earth's surface has been formed from the rocks of its crust. Now, in the 7th paragraph, here the author explains about the soil erosion, how the soil erosion occurs. Since from 4th paragraph I am explaining the fine particles carried by the water, the fast flowing water. That's what, children. When the heavy rain occurs, the fast flowing water, what happens? It removes the upper part, the upper coatation of the crust, and it goes on carrying the particles with it. And what it leaves behind? It leaves behind some kind of unnecessary sand, unnecessary stones. Is it important for irrigation? Does it give benefit? No, not at all. It does not give benefit. So what happens? The fast flowing rainwater carries all the particles and it goes on taking it to the river. And it leaves behind, only the sand is left behind. This is called as soil erosion, children. Means what happens? The fertile layer of the soil, it disappears. It goes with the fast flowing water. This is soil erosion, children, and it happens stepwise. Means the upper layer, the coat of the vegetation, the upper layer of the crust, if it is removed by the fast flowing water, it does not give any crop, and the crops will not grow properly. That is what, children. In further paragraphs, C.V. Raman has explained about how we have to stop this soil erosion and how we have to preserve this important thing, the precious thing which is present on earth. So in the next session, we will study all of these concepts. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.